Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. This is a team last season that had a very interesting season. They traded Russell Wilson last offseason to the Denver Broncos, and a lot of people thought it would be a transition period. A lot of people believed that Geno Smith was just going to be a placeholder at the quarterback position. Instead, the complete opposite happened. This team went out there, made the NFL playoffs, did go one and done against the San Francisco 49ers, but Geno Smith had 30 touchdowns for 11 interceptions, and he turned that into getting a contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks. This is a guy that a lot of people thought that he was just a journeyman in the NFL and this was just his next pick stop. Instead, that didn't happen. And this team went in this offseason and reloaded. He wasn't the reason that they lost in that playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense let them down, and that was a story throughout the entire season. And you had to know that hurt Pete Carroll deeply. He's a guy that wants to run the football and let the defense control the line of scrimmage and also let those guys go out there and play physical, tough football, going back to the Legion of Boom days. And that's why you saw this team go out and select Devin Witherspoon in the first round with Jackson Smith-Njigba. This defense could not stop the run last season, and they struggled in the pass department as well. Tariq Woolen is a star for his team at the cornerback position. He was selected in last year's draft class, and you look at last year's draft class from Charles Cross to Abraham Lucas to Kenneth Walker III, they had a tremendous draft, and you hope that they can relay it this year as well. But pairing up Tariq Woolen with Devin Witherspoon is going to be amazing in that secondary. You have two aggressive corners. Tariq Woolen is amazing, and man, coverage, and you look at Devin Witherspoon, phenomenal tackler, and is a guy that has no problems pressing up on wide receivers as well. A lot of people had him rated as the best corner in this draft class coming out of Illinois. He is a phenomenal defensive player. He fits what Pete Carroll wants, and that secondary is going to continue to get better. They also have Kobe Bryant in that secondary. He's now your third corner, depending on what packages that you want to run. And you also have Quandre Diggs as well. So they have a solid secondary with a lot of good young talent back there. And don't forget about Jamal Adams. He may not be the great cover safety that you would want to see in the NFL, but he's a guy that's going to go out there and help stop the run. And that's something that this team struggled to stop last year. Getting Jamal Adams, if he can stay healthy, is going to be amazing for this team. I understand that Jordan Brooks got hurt down the stretch. He tore his ACL, and you did lose Bobby Wagner, but now he's back on the team. That's going to help because you're going to need guys to go out there and be physical at the line of scrimmage, plug up those gaps, and help tackle those running backs. And we saw it at some points in time throughout the season to where they would stop the run like how they did against the New York Giants. Pete Carroll came in with an amazing game plan, and we'll also see other times they'll go against a team like Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season overseas to where they were outmatched, they couldn't win the line of scrimmage, and they just got bullied around. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to be a team to look at, and a lot of people are going to be scratching their head once again. They have a lot of success stories on this team, and Pete Carroll is good at managing talent, and we saw that last season. They also had a lot of good players selected in this draft class. We talk about guys like Derek Hall, who was a big defensive lineman out of Auburn. That's going to be your pass rusher that a lot of people thought they were going to select in the first round. Instead, they went with Jackson Smith-Njigba and Devin Witherspoon. But getting Derek Hall, who is an outside linebacker, but at the same time is a pure pass rusher, has a similar build to Will Anderson. I think that he's not as disruptive as Will Anderson, but he's a guy that can stop the run and get to the quarterback. He's a big physical freak. He recorded 19 and a half sacks and 28 tackles for loss in his 33 games over the last 3 seasons playing for Auburn. So he's going to be an amazing pickup for this team. He's going to fit in what Pete Carroll wants to do, a guy that's going to help control the line of scrimmage. And remember, Uchenna Nwosu had 9.5 sacks, had a career year last year, and also the Darrell Taylor. Both those guys both had 9.5 sacks. Darrell Taylor came on as the season progressed. Uchenna Nwosu was one of the best edge defenders in the NFC as a whole. So you're plugging up all these guys together. There's a lot of good young talent, and they like to go and be aggressive. Something that Pete Carroll wants in his defense is aggressiveness, and we saw that back with the Legion of Boom days. Not saying they're going to go back to those days, but it's a huge semblance of that. And bringing back Bobby Wagner, he may not be the same linebacker he was 3 to 4 years ago, but he's still solid. He's coming off of a year with the Los Angeles Rams to where he had to be on the field a lot because the offense wasn't putting up points. And he was still a good linebacker. He's not as quick as he was a couple of years ago, but he's an off-ramp insight, and he's used to being around Pete Carroll and that system, and it's great to have him back on the Seattle Seahawks. Reverting back to the offense, getting Jackson Smith-Njigba and pairing him up with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett is extremely great for him. He's coming out of Ohio State system to where he played alongside Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Similar system here. A guy that's going to be able to run the full complete route tree, and he's going to go out there and get a lot of one-on-one looks. He's not a burner down the field, but he can turn a 5 to 10 yard play and stretch it out for a 55 to 60 yard game. That's what he did at Ohio State. There's been a lot of concern about him coming outside of college. Didn't play much his last year, but neither did DK Metcalf. And look at DK Metcalf for the Seattle Seahawks right now. He's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You're putting more weapons around Geno Smith, and it only helps him in that play-action game as well. And speaking of that play-action game, Kenneth Walker III was a very good running back last season, recording 1,050 rushing yards. And then you're going to pair him up with Zach Charbonnet, running back from UCLA, is an extremely good bruiser. Kenneth Walker III can now be reserved on some of his carries to where you can go out there and run a 2 to 3 back system, to where Zach Charbonnet can come in late in the game, just beat you up, and you just do a toss play to Kenneth Walker III. Kenneth Walker III is more of a home run hitter. He's a guy that's going to make some moves in space and can catch the ball out the backfield. But now I just expect for him to just be a guy that you just do toss and sweeps with, and also running up the gut while having Zach Charbonnet coming in and be the bruiser back that he is. You have DJ Dallas, who is a good receiving back. But what is very interesting about the Seattle Seahawks, in the 7th round, they selected Kenny McIntosh, running back from Georgia. Love this pick. Elusive in open space, and he's going to be a guy that can be another receiving option for Geno Smith. You can put him in the slot. That's what Georgia did at times. He's a guy that can play some wide receiver for you and also just play some premier running back as well. So that running back room is crowded with a lot of good young talent in Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker III from last year, and Kenny McIntosh. So you look at this entire team of the Seattle Seahawks, they're built to win football games now and for the future. You selected Charles Cross last year in the 1st round. He looks like he's going to be a franchise tackle for years to come. You also got a hit on Abraham Lucas, who is extremely good as well. Expect for that right guard position to be up for grabs when you look at Evan Brown versus Anthony Bradford. Anthony Bradford is another guy that they selected in the 4th round, standing at 6'5", 345 pounds. This is a kid that's coming out of LSU, extremely nasty run type of guard. Expect for that guard position to have a lot of competition in training camp, because that kid was one of the best running guards in this entire class, and he is very solid as a pass protector as well. So they're getting this offensive line right. They're trying to win the trenches on the offensive side and on the defensive side. It does come down to, do you believe Geno Smith can catch lightning in a bottle twice? Can he have that same type of season this upcoming season? But with these weapons that they have and the offensive coordinator that they had and how creative that they are, I expect for the Seattle Seahawks to easily be the 2nd best team in this division. You still do worry about the San Francisco 49ers, but if the San Francisco 49ers can't figure out their quarterback situation, it may be up in the air. But the Arizona Cardinals will be without Kyler Murray. And you look at the Los Angeles Rams, they're rebuilding as well. And I believe right now, with what Pete Carroll did last year, if he can recap it again this year, the Seattle Seahawks will be a extremely deadly team in the NFC, especially with the NFC lacking quarterback power right now. So this team is very young, they're very fun, and they're going to be very hard to beat. They're very fast, and they are going to be physical as hell. It just comes down to, can Jamal Adams stay healthy? That's the biggest question mark on defense. I believe Devin Witherspoon is going to come in immediately and be a very good corner for this team, very aggressive. Tariq Woolen will continue to get better. Quandre Diggs is back there, but Jamal Adams has to stay healthy. Quandre Diggs can be that single high safety, and they can just let Jamal Adams be the rover across the middle of the field and let him be that sub linebacker like how he was in years before. We know what he is on the field. He helps out that run defense, but if he can't stay healthy, you may have to move on sooner than later, because he is still serving out his contract, and you traded 2 first-round picks to get this kid. But The Russell Wilson trade has been complete. They finalized all their picks, and I believe the Seattle Seahawks are going to be a scary team to watch out for years to come. It just comes down to, can Jamal Adams stay healthy, and can Geno Smith retain his play? If you're new to the channel, let me know how you feel about the Seattle Seahawks, and hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, we want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.